Hello and welcome to the Fox's Corner with your favorite host, Bry Fox. And today I'm going to be a little more serious today because I understand that some recent events occurred that, admittedly, I'm a little scared. I did have a panic attack earlier, and I did kind of go offline for a bit, and I did shut down some social media of my personal self that most people are not aware of. Um, so today's topic is actually just going to be discussing recent events and my doxing incident, if I'm going to be brutally honest. So I'm just going to talk about the subject and my experiences with it and be able to properly articulate it because I just don't believe that a Twitter thread is just going to do it justice. So I'm going to just kind of jump right into it right now. So here we go. Just to start off, I do live with family, and it's not funny to see people just kind of harass my residents, as I do have people living here besides myself. Generally, I'm a very paranoid person. I love my family. I don't want them to get hurt. If you're also wondering why did I not use this in text, in any other social media platform, not Twitter, it's mostly because I just prefer talking. If you understand, I'm on the spectrum. Sometimes I'm not very good at conveying messages over text, and sometimes also talking, but personally, I feel more comfortable through this medium, so I'm just going to be brutally honest here. So, now, just a bit of some background. I have been stalked and harassed online a couple times, especially on iFunny. I've mentioned this in a previous episode. I've been stalked twice. I've had login attempts before. I've been harassed many times. I've had people try to leak personal details about me. One time this happened from my own school even, so that was not fun. But yes, a lot of things set me off, so I'm going to give a bit of a timeline. So I was, I guess, going in on the discourse on Twitter and talking about, kind of dunking on some less desirable people, and if I'm if I'm being honest, or let's be honest, they're white supremacists. That's who these people were. I'm being brutally honest here. These are, a certain group of people that I do not wish to associate with, and I kind of, I poked a bee's hive that kind of got me back a bit. So, it's not fun, but at least I feel morally in the right. But anyway, so what happened first was after the incident. Of me kind of having an altercation with all these accounts, on Twitter especially, I had found out that my Facebook had a login attempt. I got an email right away about how someone tried to go in my Twitter from a certain address. I think it was from some other country. I think it was Canada Canada. And then I'm just going to recite this off the top of my head here. So I'm just kind of, if I ramble a bit, I'm sorry. So it's like from Canada or something. I don't know. I just knew it wasn't from here. And then, so Facebook notified me, and then I got a little worried because, it happened right after the altercation. And then immediately after, my spicy takes to some white supremacists. These are just generally hateful people, I don't want to list a specific group because I worry that they might listen to this or something, and I'm going to actually be very careful with this episode of where or who gets it, so just a heads up. And then what happened after was that I had multiple login attempts, many login attempts on my Instagram, like once every 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. So I had to change my Instagram password. Also, my Facebook password had to be changed. So I got worried now, because so first my Facebook, then my Instagram. And what kind of set me off initially was, at least I would say a little bit after that, my Twitter had a login attempt, and it was, again, it wasn't the country I mentioned, it was just another place, so I'm assuming they were using a VPN or something, but or somebody else, so another login attempt on my Instagram, my Twitter, so my Twitter had my specific Twitter, my main Twitter had a attempt, and I got worried now, because I'm like, okay, now they're trying to get me, and I recognize that I think all these dots are starting to connect. I notice patterns earlier than most people for this reason. So this is why sometimes people say I get frightened too easily, because I see stuff maybe the others don't, and people kind of see me as like insane or something, and I don't want it to be seen that way because again, I see patterns. Something was there. So, and then my hunch was right because a friend of mine who I'm not going to name for security reasons and for safety reasons um, sent me over Twitter that apparently on a certain forum, which I will not name for obvious reasons, I'll just say a certain a troll farm. That's all I'm going to say. Nothing more. A forum that's very notorious for stuff like this. Apparently, my name was on it for a couple threads, and I looked up my own Twitter name, and there I was. I was at least kind of not the main person, but I was there. I believe I saw my name more than once. So yes, I got worried. I'm like, oh my god, I had a panic attack like right then and there. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So they got my friends and they got me. I'm the next domino, I'm the next domino to fall, and I didn't like that feeling. I felt scared. I felt worried. I thought, okay, if I get hurt or worse, I could be doxxed, I could be, swatted, I could be severely injured, so my family could be hurt. And I've heard the stories before. Stuff happens, especially given recent events in America with certain people. But anyway, so I had a panic attack, and I kind of just went offline. So I immediately posted about it. I locked my Twitter, and I just got rid of my bio. I locked the Twitter for this account for the Fox's Corner. I locked basically everything I possibly could. I tried to make it as secretive as possible. If you hear something in the background, it's because we're kind of having a little fireside chat here. So if you hear like a fireplace, don't worry. I'm playing that in the background. But yeah, I saw my own name twice. I had a panic attack. And and then after the panic attack, my Google had a login attempt from another state, which worried me. So I'm trying to properly articulate this. I'm also trying to breathe. So, I'm trying not to have a panic attack. I think of this like my diary a little bit. Like, this is the Truman Show, except I'm not famous or rich, and I'm not Jim Carrey. But anyway, I hope I don't get in trouble for referencing that. Anyway, I was notified by that same source about on a Discord server with some of the people whose their Twitters were, I guess, stalking my responses. Some of them had a Discord server, and they were leaking my old address, and that's what worried me. Now, I'm obviously not going to show it, and I'm not going to share it because I don't want to give it any more attention than I have to. I think they've reported it, but still, it was not, they got my wrong address, thankfully. It was not my address. It was, an address of a residence that I do not live in anymore. I do worry that the people who live in there currently are going to get in trouble, but that's another story for another day. So yes, I saw my old address. I'm trying to remember. And yes, these were the more like, the edgelord types trying to go after me. So I panicked. All these things are happening at once. This is too much for me. I just logged off. I just decided to work on my quiz or whatever, my assignments for college, and to just kind of think about it later. This is too much. I'm going to mentally disconnect. I did continue to use the internet, though, just in different ways. I had some more private accounts where I talk about more personal stuff that I'm not going to disclose. But yes, I did kind of disconnect for a while. I just was not in the mood to interact. And if you're wondering why I panicked, like, these aren't too exaggerating, it's mainly because, as I mentioned before, the forum in question has targeted many furries. They have targeted many. If I'm trying to give a real number, I think 6 or 7 of my friends from Twitter have actually had threads on the. Actually, yeah, or 8 even. Roughly 6 to 8 have had threads of them on the forum. And I thought it was going to be next, realistically. I've had a very long track record online. I've had a very polarizing track record online. I've had a very controversial presence on some platforms. And I've had a very questionable presence online, at least in my early days, because, I was a dumb teenager. I didn't know what I was doing. I've been in the fandom a long time. I've probably done some things that are worthy maybe of a call-out at the time that I've changed from, or at least I've evolved as a person. So naturally, I worried somewhat at the beginning. Now, thankfully, not too much was leaked. They just tried to go after me. But yes, they did. People were trying to go after my social medias, and I panicked. Now, if you're wondering why I cannot really contact law enforcement, now this happened to an unrelated incident about a few months ago. I had to contact the DA, or not the DA, but at least I had to go after the law enforcement in my area, and it was basically they told me that the DA will not take my case unless my life were legitimately in danger. And I cannot use conjecture, and I cannot just use a hypothetical that they're going to hurt me. I have to have a clear and present danger in taking the case. They were backlogged with a lot of cases in my county. We're a very underfunded county. I know people say, like, it's always overfunded. Some counties are actually kind of underfunded, because my county has had some bankruptcy filings in the past, but that's another story for another day. I'm not going to discuss that here, but that's all I'm going to say. But yes, they did not take my case, and in fact, they got mad at me for trying to even mention it, so I just can't, at least now, I can't go after it for that reason. They're not interested in taking any, at least in their eyes, mild cases. So I'm kind of stuck in that sense, but I will not give up. And I will go back online as soon as I can. In fact, I think I'm going to unlock my Twitter once everything dies down. All I need to do is I need to have a very present, a very explicit time frame that I know I'm safe. So 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, just any length of time where I believe I am safe. Hold on, I'm going to have a hairball. Sorry, I'm choking. But, yeah. I'll return to my old self. Things are going to go back to normal. I will continue podcasting. I will continue my assignments. I will continue hanging out with all of my friends. It's just going to take a while for my stress to go down a bit, for me to not have to worry about a target on my back 24/7. And I want to go back to being my old self. On my Twitter, being cringy, being annoying, but being at least mildly entertaining for you. You know, I'm your little show pony. I'm show fox? Show pony? I don't know. I'm your little circus animal, and, I need those peanuts. But anyway. Yeah, I'll give it about a week for things to go back to normal, and I'm kind of angry mainly at what happened because of my friends. And what I'm saying is a lot of my friends got targeted, at least in the past, not for this specific incident. But I've definitely had some mutuals on Twitter who I guess I'm not going to name because I don't want them to get further harassed. They have ongoing threads on, the forum in question. Oh, I'm getting a little hyper. And I understand that they're very vulnerable people, especially in quarantine. It's hard to move. And I realize, some of them had their addresses leaked, or at least their personal lives leaked. It's very creepy. I'm tired of having to hide in the shadows because one freaking website forum is trying to basically manipulate and control people and trying to intimidate people out of their true selves on social media. And you can say whatever you want. Hey, maybe they had some threads on bad people, and I've seen that before, but I don't think that negates or justifies the innocent people who are just trying to live their lives on the internet, especially adults, being targeted by people with nothing better to do except harass others. And especially, I notice this a lot, they tend to go after minorities a lot. I notice this. I do notice this now. Like, the majority of them have been, at least disproportionately, like queer people, like trans people. I notice a lot of religious minorities on there, if you know what I mean. I see a lot of people of color on there, myself included. It's just, it's annoying. It's bothersome. I resent all of it. And I just want this over with, frankly. And especially for my friends. I don't want this to be about me. I kind of want this to be about everybody. And what I mean by everybody, I just mean that all my friends who are on there, who have threads made about them, and for all the harassment they received because of it, for maybe incidences in their past, or maybe for things that they regret doing in their past and now they're being called out. I want that to finally be over. And if you're, oh, and just a final note, the reason why I didn't say my social medias up front is because I want this to be a very serious episode. I just wanted to jump right into it. I don't want to make this seem like it's a cloud chase thing. Like, it happened. It was not cool. I did feel like I was going to die for a moment. That kind of panic attack feeling. It's not fun. I did have a legitimate claim here, and I don't really know what to do other than just to suck it up and move on. So this is going to be a very short episode, but yeah, I'm just going to have to live and live. That's it. I'm just going to have to survive this. But yeah, I hope everybody had a good 2021 so far, and I wish everybody the best of luck. I hope that my friends can finally be in peace. I recently saw a Native American furry friend of mine be harassed on said forum, and frankly, that disgusted me too, and that was the final straw. I just felt like I had to say something. We can't do anything as a community, even myself, because I have to think about, oh god, they're gonna like stalk me in my personal life and release my address like they just did, or they technically they didn't, but you know exactly what I mean. Yeah, I'm going to have this be a disclaimer, and I'm probably even going to have to make this an adult-themed episode because of the graphic themes, or at least the very vivid descriptions, or I just feel like it's not I want to limit the spread of this video, so I'm going to be very careful with how I word this, but, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do, actually, after this. If you're wondering why this specific medium, I think it's just because this is the medium where I have a decent audience to listen, who is also from my Twitter, is very understanding and open-minded, and is also very understanding of the struggles it is to kind of be furry, or to be like a minority online, or, just to be kind of to be outside of like that normie mainstream culture. You kind of get targeted a lot sometimes, especially if you're loud like me. Do I regret what I did? I mean, I thought I was doing what was correct. I felt like there was a lot of inaccuracies in a lot of the people's postings, and I felt like I can't, as somebody who loves history and loves anthropology and loves sociology and just loves human, like, cultures and religions and just everything about humanity and its good parts, I can't stand here and just watch people lie blatantly on the internet about certain groups of people, or to horribly misrepresent in order to spread hatred. And the fact that I got targeted for it just disgusts me, and I'm tired of being harassed. I'm tired of legal litigation involving stuff like this. I'm just tired. So I'm tired of facing all this kind of backlash for just trying to be loud or trying to express myself. So, leave that as you will, leave that as you may, and I digress. I hope everybody enjoys their year, and I will be back soon, both here and on Twitter, and the Fox's Corner Twitter. And I guess if you really want to, I'll just leave the social medias here. Don't forget my Twitter, Instagram, the ROKBuddy of Brian Fox on Reddit. If you want to contact me via email, it's Brian Fox's Corner. No apostrophe, at gmail.com. And don't forget the Patreon at the Fox's Corner. I will be uploading it soon. Again, if you have anything to say, just say it to me. If I will be responding to questions soon, I will not be very descriptive for the purpose of safety and security, and I will not attract too much attention to it because I just want this to be a little blip in my life. I don't want to be defined by call outs. I don't want to be defined by my worst moments. I would rather be defined by my best moments. Goodbye.